Welcome to the Discourse Analyzer AI Toolkit, where articles come alive. You're listening to the audio version of our article. For the full text and an interactive experience, check out the link in the description below. Interact with any selection using our AI assistant to enhance your understanding. Let's explore.
Methodologies for Cognitive Discourse Analysis. In the evolving landscape of cognitive discourse analysis, CDA, the confluence of corpus linguistics and cognitive linguistics heralds a dynamic approach to deciphering the cognitive mechanisms that underpin discourse. This synergy enables a comprehensive exploration of how metaphor, metonymy, and other cognitive phenomena manifest in language use, employing extensive textual datasets for empirical investigation. Through the prism of CDA, this discourse examines the intricate interplay between cognitive processes and linguistic expression, spanning methodological innovations in corpus analysis, qualitative insights into discourse practices, and the broadened horizon of multimodal and cross-cultural discourse analysis. By delving into these domains, the discussion illuminates the profound ways in which language both reflects and shapes human cognition, offering a nuanced understanding of discourse as a window into the mind. 1. Corpus linguistics and cognitive discourse studies. Cognitive discourse analysis, CDA, is a burgeoning field that merges insights from cognitive linguistics, CL, with the methodological rigor of discourse analysis, aiming to uncover the cognitive patterns that underlie language use. One of the key methodologies employed in this interdisciplinary approach is corpus linguistics, which provides powerful tools for examining how cognitive phenomena like metaphor and metonymy manifest across large datasets. 1. Utilizing corpora to uncover cognitive patterns in discourse. Corpora, or large collections of textual data, serve as invaluable resources for identifying and analyzing patterns in language use that may not be apparent from the examination of individual texts. In the context of CDA, corpus linguistics allows researchers to identify frequencies and patterns. By examining the frequency and distribution of words, phrases, and structures across a corpus, researchers can identify patterns that suggest underlying cognitive processes. For example, the recurrent use of certain metaphors across different texts may indicate a conceptual metaphor that is pervasive within a culture or community. Track changes over time. Corpora compiled from texts produced over different periods enable the study of how cognitive patterns and discourse evolve over time, reflecting changes in societal attitudes, beliefs, and knowledge. Compare discourses across contexts. The use of comparative corpora allows for the analysis of how cognitive patterns vary across genres, disciplines, or cultural settings, providing insights into the flexibility and adaptability of conceptual mappings. 2. Methodological approaches to analyzing metaphor and metonymy in large datasets. The analysis of metaphor and metonymy within large corpora involves several methodological approaches. Automated and semi-automated searches. For identifying potential metaphoric or metonymic expressions, researchers can use automated tools to search for linguistic markers of metaphor and metonymy, such as words commonly associated with conceptual metaphors. Semi-automated approaches may involve manual inspection of search results to confirm the presence of metaphorical or metonymic usage. Concordance analysis. This involves examining the contexts in which particular words or phrases occur to understand their usage patterns and potential metaphorical or metonymic meanings. Concordance analysis helps in revealing how abstract concepts are grounded in physical or sensory experiences. Collocation analysis. By identifying words that frequently occur together, collocation analysis can uncover associations that hint at underlying conceptual metaphors or metonymic connections. For instance, the frequent collocation of battle with terms related to illness may reveal a conceptual metaphor of illness as a battle. Metaphor identification procedures, MIP, developed specifically for the systematic identification of metaphorical language in text, MIP and its variants, such as MIPVU, Metaphor Identification Procedure Vrije Universiteit, provide a framework for distinguishing between metaphorical and literal language use. These procedures can be adapted for use with corpora, allowing for the analysis of metaphorical expressions across large datasets. The integration of corpus linguistics into cognitive discourse analysis offers a robust methodological framework for exploring the cognitive underpinnings of discourse. By utilizing large datasets, researchers can uncover patterns of metaphor and metonymy that illuminate the cognitive mechanisms at play in language use. These approaches not only enhance our understanding of linguistic phenomena but also provide insights into the cognitive structures that shape human thought and communication. 2. Qualitative methods in cognitive discourse analysis. Qualitative methods in cognitive discourse analysis, CDA, offer nuanced insights into the intricate ways in which cognitive processes influence discourse production, comprehension, and interaction. By employing ethnographic and case study approaches, along with narrative analysis, researchers can delve into the complexities of language use in natural settings, exploring the cognitive strategies that underlie storytelling and other forms of discourse. 1. Ethnographic and case study approaches to discourse. Ethnographic and case study methodologies provide a rich, in-depth understanding of discourse within specific cultural, social, or institutional contexts. These approaches are particularly valuable in CDA for several reasons. Contextualized insights. They allow for the exploration of discourse as it occurs in naturalistic settings, offering insights into the ways cognitive frames, metaphors, and narratives are employed in everyday language use. This contextualized approach helps in understanding how discourse practices are shaped by and reflect broader cultural and cognitive patterns. Participant perspectives. Through interviews, participant observations, and the analysis of naturally occurring discourse, ethnographic and case study research can uncover the perspectives and cognitive strategies of discourse participants. This includes how individuals use language to construct identity, negotiate relationships, and navigate social norms. Detailed case analysis. Case studies can provide detailed examinations of specific instances of discourse, such as political speeches, advertising campaigns, or educational settings. This detailed analysis allows researchers to trace the cognitive underpinnings of discourse practices, including the use of metaphor and narrative structures, and their effects on audience understanding and engagement. 2. Narrative analysis and the role of cognitive strategies in storytelling. Narrative analysis focuses on the structure and function of stories in personal and social life, providing a valuable lens for examining the cognitive strategies involved in storytelling. Cognitive structures of narratives. Narrative analysis in CDA explores how stories are cognitively structured to convey meaning, examining elements such as plot, characters, and setting. This approach reveals how narrative coherence is achieved and how stories are used to organize and make sense of experiences. Metaphor and identity in storytelling. By analyzing the metaphors and frames within personal narratives and public stories, researchers can uncover how individuals and groups conceptualize their identities and experiences. This includes examining how metaphors are used to articulate complex emotions, relationships, and social dynamics. Narrative as cognitive strategy. Storytelling is not just a way of sharing information but a cognitive strategy for understanding and navigating the world. Narrative analysis can reveal how people use stories to reason about moral issues, resolve conflicts, and articulate personal and cultural values. This includes how narrative forms adapt to different communicative purposes and audiences. Qualitative methods in cognitive discourse analysis, such as ethnographic and case study approaches, along with narrative analysis, provide deep insights into the cognitive mechanisms that shape discourse. By focusing on the rich, contextualized study of discourse practices, these methodologies illuminate the complex interplay between language, thought, and social interaction. They underscore the importance of cognitive strategies in storytelling and other discursive practices, revealing how individuals use language to construct meaning, negotiate identity, and engage with the world around them. 3. Multimodal and cross-cultural discourse analysis. Cognitive discourse analysis, CDA, extends beyond the analysis of verbal language to encompass non-verbal and cross-cultural communication, recognizing the multimodal nature of discourse and the diverse cognitive processes it entails. This expansion reflects an understanding that cognition is not solely manifested through words but is also embedded in visual, auditory, and spatial modes of communication, which vary across cultural contexts. Multimodal and cross-cultural discourse analysis from a cognitive perspective involves examining how these various modes of communication interact with cognitive processes to shape understanding and meaning-making. 1. Examining cognitive aspects of nonverbal and cross-cultural communication. Nonverbal communication. Nonverbal cues such as gestures, facial expressions, and body language play a significant role in communication, often conveying messages that words cannot. From a cognitive perspective, analyzing these cues involves understanding how they function as part of our conceptual system and how they interact with verbal language to produce meaning. For example, gestures may reflect conceptual metaphors or embody cognitive schemas, providing insight into underlying thought processes. Cross-cultural communication. Cross-cultural discourse analysis emphasizes the role of culture in shaping cognitive processes and, consequently, communication practices. Different cultures may have distinct conceptual metaphors, narrative structures, and frames, which influence how discourse is produced and interpreted. Analyzing discourse across cultures requires an understanding of these cognitive underpinnings to appreciate the diversity in communication and avoid ethnocentric interpretations. 2. Strategies for analyzing multimodal discourse from a cognitive perspective. Integration of verbal and nonverbal modes. One strategy involves examining how verbal and nonverbal modes of communication are integrated to create cohesive messages. This includes analyzing how gestures, visual elements, and spatial arrangements complement, enhance, or contradict verbal messages, and what this reveals about cognitive strategies and processes. Use of digital tools and software. The analysis of multimodal discourse benefits from the use of digital tools and software designed to annotate and analyze visual and auditory elements alongside text. These tools can help identify patterns and correlations between different modes of communication, facilitating a more comprehensive analysis of discourse dynamics. Attention to cultural contexts and practices. When analyzing cross-cultural discourse, it's crucial to adopt an ethnographic approach that considers the cultural contexts and practices surrounding communication. This involves not only studying the discourse itself but also understanding the cultural schemas and values that inform it. Engaging with cultural insiders or employing participatory research methods can provide deeper insights into the cognitive and cultural dimensions of discourse. Conceptual metaphor and metonymy analysis across modes. Another strategy involves extending the analysis of conceptual metaphors and metonymies to nonverbal modes of communication, examining how these cognitive structures are manifested through visual symbols, spatial arrangements, and other non-linguistic elements. This approach reveals the multimodal nature of cognitive schemas and their influence on discourse. The methodologies for analyzing multimodal and cross-cultural discourse from a cognitive perspective underscore the complexity and richness of communication. By examining the cognitive aspects of nonverbal cues, visual elements, and cultural variations in discourse, researchers can gain a more holistic understanding of how meaning is constructed and negotiated across different modes and cultural contexts. These strategies highlight the importance of considering the multifaceted nature of discourse in revealing the cognitive processes that underlie human communication. Conclusion. The integration of corpus linguistics into cognitive discourse analysis offers a rich, multifaceted lens through which to view the intricate relationship between language and cognition. Through detailed examination of corpus data, researchers unearth patterns of metaphor and metonymy that reflect underlying cognitive structures, enhancing our comprehension of discourse. Concurrently, qualitative methods reveal the nuanced strategies individuals employ in storytelling and discourse, underscoring the role of cognitive processes in shaping narrative and identity. Furthermore, the expansion into multimodal and cross-cultural discourse analysis acknowledges the complexity of communication, emphasizing the significance of nonverbal cues and cultural diversity in cognitive discourse studies. Collectively, these approaches contribute to a deeper understanding of how cognitive mechanisms are instantiated in language, offering valuable insights into the cognitive underpinnings of discourse and communication. Frequently asked questions. What does incorporating nonverbal communication into cognitive discourse analysis, CDA, reveal about cognition and discourse? Incorporating nonverbal communication into CDA reveals the multimodal nature of human cognition and discourse. It shows how gestures, facial expressions, and body language complement and enrich verbal communication, often conveying meanings that words alone cannot. This integration highlights the embodiment of cognition and how our physical interactions with the world influence our conceptual system and discourse practices. How does cross-cultural discourse analysis from a cognitive perspective enhance our understanding of communication? Cross-cultural discourse analysis from a cognitive perspective enhances our understanding by highlighting how different cultures have distinct conceptual frameworks, metaphors, and narrative strategies that shape communication practices. This approach reveals the profound impact of cultural cognition on discourse, offering insights into the diversity of human thought and the importance of cultural context in meaning-making and interpretation. What are the methodological challenges of analyzing multimodal discourse, and how can researchers address them? Methodological challenges of analyzing multimodal discourse include the difficulty of integrating and interpreting data from various communication modes, verbal, visual, gestural, and the need for specialized tools to analyze non-textual data. Researchers can address these challenges by using digital annotation and analysis tools designed for multimodal data, adopting interdisciplinary approaches that combine insights from linguistics, semiotics, and media studies, and developing clear frameworks for multimodal discourse analysis. How does the study of conceptual metaphor and metonymy across communication modes contribute to cognitive linguistics and discourse analysis? The study of conceptual metaphor and metonymy across communication modes contributes by demonstrating that these cognitive processes extend beyond verbal language to shape our understanding and use of nonverbal and multimodal forms of communication. This exploration reveals the ubiquity and versatility of conceptual mappings in human thought, underscoring the role of metaphor and metonymy in organizing our perceptions, emotions, and actions across different cultural and communicational contexts. What insights can digital tools and software provide in the analysis of multimodal and cross-cultural discourse? Digital tools and software can provide valuable insights in the analysis of multimodal and cross-cultural discourse by facilitating the annotation, coding, and analysis of complex datasets that include textual, visual, and auditory elements. These tools enable researchers to identify patterns, correlations, and differences across modes and cultures more efficiently, enhancing the depth and breadth of discourse analysis. In what ways do cognitive frames and schemas intersect with multimodal and cross-cultural discourse analysis? Cognitive frames and schemas intersect with multimodal and cross-cultural discourse analysis by providing a framework for understanding how individuals and groups organize knowledge and experience across different modes of communication and cultural contexts. This intersection helps researchers explore how shared cognitive structures influence the production, interpretation, and integration of multimodal messages and how these structures vary or remain consistent across cultures, offering deeper insights into the cognitive underpinnings of discourse. Can cognitive discourse analysis inform practical applications such as education, marketing, or intercultural communication? Yes. Cognitive discourse analysis can inform practical applications by offering insights into how people think, communicate, and persuade across different contexts. In education, it can enhance understanding of how students process information and the role of metaphor in learning. In marketing, it can reveal how brands use cognitive strategies to connect with audiences. In intercultural communication, it can improve cross-cultural understanding by highlighting cultural differences in cognition and communication styles, leading to more effective and empathetic interactions. How does engaging with cultural insiders or employing participatory research methods enrich cross-cultural discourse analysis? Engaging with cultural insiders or employing participatory research methods enriches cross-cultural discourse analysis by incorporating the perspectives, experiences, and interpretations of those who are part of the culture being studied. This engagement ensures that analyses are grounded in authentic cultural knowledge, avoiding ethnocentric biases and revealing the nuanced ways in which culture shapes cognition and discourse. It fosters a collaborative approach that values the expertise of cultural members, leading to more accurate and respectful representations of cultural discourses.